Welcome back to Singer Dad Reacts. My name is Josh. Great to be back with you. So I wanted to explain a little bit. A lot of you are expecting to see Give Me Love posted out on my channel. So as I mentioned at the end of my Uptown Funk reaction, I was having some video difficulties, and unfortunately those continued into my recording of my Give Me Love reaction and caused some corruption and general, problems with my recording. So I'm not really going to be able to post that reaction, unfortunately. So I got to thinking about, okay, how could I tie it all up and show something that happened right around the same time frame as the end of that singer competition. And I just finished watching this Dimash family history video. I'll put a link down in the description. Very interesting. And it talks, they interview Kudaibergen Atta, I believe is how you pronounce that, the Dimash's grandfather and his grandmother and his parents, of course. And it's very interesting, and I really appreciated getting a glimpse into their lives and learning more about them. They really are remarkable people. And it all started with his grandfather. He was very industrious, very hardworking, and that's how he was able to kind of work his way up to a good position within the different ventures that he took on. And he was also very generous and kind-hearted individual. He actually, both the Dimash's grandparents were very enabling for their children and said, whatever you want to do, you can do it, right? And so when Kanat was very interested in music, they got him like a really good dombra and encouraged him to do that. And then he really got into it, and then that's how he and Sveta met. I believe they met going to school together. But the other thing that really stood out to me was when they were interviewing Dimash, he talked about how what's really important is family, and he sent a message out to the younger generation to say, believe in your culture, believe in your people, stand for your people and your family and so forth. And I think that really hit me hard, because it's like, here he is, a young man. Again, he's still right around 22, but he's so well grounded and so filled with love and respect for his family, for his elders, for those that have raised him, and the things that he's learned as someone living in Kazakhstan. So very impressed with that. Anyway, this is a culmination of the singer competition, and I mentioned that I would have a special treat for you. What I would like to do is, I'm up to 17 languages now, and I've just added Bulgarian because I saw there were some commenters out there that said they were from Bulgaria, and so I wanted to make sure that they had the ability to experience the reaction in their own language. And so if there are others out there from other languages, feel free to let me know, and I'll add those subtitles as well. I know the subtitles are not perfect because they're not actually being translated by someone going through and meticulously translating each word. I've had some comments about that, and I tried. One of the things I am doing to try and improve the quality of the subtitle translation is I'm going through the original English translation, and I'm cleaning that up so there's no extra words, and I'm taking out any of my extra words that I may say so that the sentences are cleaner, and it's easier for someone reading it to get a clear message of what I'm talking about. So I am trying to do that at the very beginning before I take that file and then translate it into the other languages. So hopefully that some of the more recent translations have been better for you. If you want to let me know on that, I'd appreciate it. They should be better. The other thing that I've learned that through the course of different things that I've learned through mistakes mostly, I seem to be striking out on the lyric translations. So if any of you can help me on that front, as far as pointing me in the right direction to a place where I can find good translations for Dimash and for others, that would be very helpful, because I do want to represent the translations correctly. Because if I get the wrong translation, like I did for the Diana Ankudinova, for the Mevoy reaction, then it kind of detracts. But again, coming back to the translation aspect, what I wanted to do, since you've all been with me and we reached kind of this culmination at the end of the singer competition, I wanted to say thank you to all of you in your own language. So I have in front of me all the phonetic translations for each of your languages that will hopefully help me to correctly pronounce thank you in your language. So we'll see how it goes here. So starting with Bulgarian, Bogodaria, Filipino, Salamat, French, Merci, German, Danke dir, Greek, Efaristo, Hungarian, Kusinam, Italian, Grazie, Kazakh, Rakhmit, Korean, Kamsabnida, that's a tricky one, Lithuanian, Achu, that one's fun, Polish, Dziękuję, Portuguese, Obrigado, Russian, Spasiba, Spanish, Gracias, Swedish, Tak, and Thai, Kakun. So hopefully I was close on that. The other thing I want to do while I'm still thinking about it here, I understand that today is Kudebergen Ata, is his birthday. And so I want to try to wish him a happy birthday in Kazakh. I did, I think, find the phonetic translation for happy birthday. Hopefully I was able to pick up on it. It was one of those where you listen to the voice and then it doesn't actually spell it out in phonetic letters, but it's one you have to listen to. So hopefully I was able to get it correct. But I wanted to wish Kudebergen Ata a happy birthday and say Tohan Kunanis Vien. Kunanis Vien. Kudebergen Ata. So I hope that he had a great birthday and spent time with the family and really had a chance to celebrate the wonderful family that they have. Anyway, with that, all of that ties in with the video that I'm going to be reacting to today, which is, from what I understand, right after the singer competition. And it's where Dimash and his parents, and they are singing Dearest Mother. So I think it's a tribute to Sveta. So with that, I'll get started here. And I have the English subtitles all set up here. Okay. Wow. That's awesome.
Шуағыңмен нұрланамын, жаным гүлдеп
It's really neat. So my wife and I think I may have mentioned this before, so we met singing actually. So we had the same voice teacher in college, and we found out that later that she had me before, and then my wife started taking from her, and we found out later that she kind of was working a little matchmaker magic and put our lessons back to back. And then she was like, oh, your voices blend really well together. You guys should sing duets. And so she was kind of working her little magic. But so we really enjoy singing together, and our voices do blend well. And I noticed that with theirs too. Their voices blend quite well with the timbres of their voices mesh well there. But how neat a treat is this, for Dimash to be there and to have his mother honored and to have his parents sing together. Look at her expression there. I mean, this is what it's all about right here. That's what it's all about. I mean, the love that they have for each other and how proud they are of Dimash. And when they asked Dimash in that video I watched about why he performed in the singer competition and all that, he said he used the words to gladden, at least this was a translation, to gladden, somehow gladden my parents to some small degree, right? So that was his wish, was to talk to people about his country and about their culture and tell the world about it, and also to gladden his family, his parents. So this is the type of people that they are, and I'm just very impressed and touched by the love that they have and their patriotism, and they're outstanding people. And it was cool some of the people that had grown up with the family from this video talked about how they are very involved with community service, giving service to those in need, and so that speaks volumes about the true nature of who they are and where their hearts are really at. Just really good people. Let's get back to it here.
Şanırdan da büyüksek Oşalar benim zakarlarga Tangım bolup atmasam Ayağlanam arman barma Ak sütümde aktasam Asıl alışım Ömrüm bok şalgastım Özün kanasın Eng ayağım ardaktım Tökкен orım Мен göçmedi kanatan.
Their voices blend really well together too. Kanat's got an interesting timbre to his voice. It's kind of like it's hard to kind of place it, but it kind of it's kind of like what's the tone? It's kind of like a little bit of a darker tone to it. His voice is a little higher, but it's kind of a darker tone to it as far as kind of the texture of his voice. But those two do blend well together. And you can tell that Kanat is very comfortable performing. It's not like he's out there just as a favor to Dimash or whatever, but he's doesn't really, enjoy doing it. You can tell that he's in his element here. So that's awesome. And it's very touching to see his grandparents there, and grandma was clapping, and it's just awesome. using a very light tone. Wow. Very cool. Yeah, that was really neat to see them perform for them and for her. I think they were singing to Sveta, but also Miwa, I believe is how you pronounce her name, Dimash's grandmother. Yeah, that's really a neat moment, and they'll always cherish that. I'm sure they've had more moments like that where they've sung together before. If you have suggestions for other moments like this that you want me to react to, I'd definitely be open to watching those. It's touching to see them as a family. And this, I'm glad I reacted to it and watched it because this is really at the core of who Dimash is. This is a big part of who he is and what's important to him, and what he loves. Right, his family. His family is essential to him and very important to him. That's one of the things that he said when they asked him, okay, what were you hoping for from the singer competition, right? The family was one of the first things he mentioned. So, not to show the world what he could do, not, all these different things that you would guess he might say. That wasn't what came out of his mouth, right? He mentioned his family and his love for them. So, very touching, and it's great that his grandma and grandpa were there and got to share in that moment. I mentioned my grandma before. I think she was my last grandparent to pass away, but my wife and I did get a chance to sing for her a couple of times, and so that was really neat. We sang at family reunions and things like that. So it was always nice to be able to do that. And our kids love to sing too. Like I said, I mentioned before, my wife directs the high school musicals, and so our kids have been in the musicals all through high school and stuff like that. In fact, my 18-year-old was in a clean version of Grease that they were going to perform at the high school. That my wife directed, of course, and the COVID happened, the virus happened, and they were literally like a week or two from opening. She'd taught them all the choreography and done everything. And they got all the way to the end right before they were supposed to perform. So they're still hoping and holding out that they can somehow perform it with this cast, sometime this summer or in the fall or something like that. But it'd be a shame if it doesn't happen. But so sharing in music together as a family, I can speak to that. It's really special and brings us closer to each other. So I'll cut this short, but again, thank you all for all of your support and for being with me on this journey through the singer competition. And I am excited to move forward and on to some of the performances that a lot of you have been waiting patiently for me to react to. I'm going to start, as I mentioned before, with Bastau and some of the performances there that I haven't seen, and move on from there to probably like some of the 2018 Hello and some of the others, Sinful Passion, I think. That some of the real popular ones that I get requests for all the time. I also wanted to just give a little bit of a review or reaction to Give Me Love, since I did actually go through and watch that and react to it. The thing that was touching about that performance was it kind of ties in with what I reacted to today and what I talked about as far as his family history video that I watched, because it was really, you could see he was in his element. He loves his country. He loved to be able to sing in Kazakh. And when he was just sitting there for the performance and singing, it was very tender and very intimate. And you could see a lot of the people there in attendance were very touched by his performance. And it was a neat moment, really, to see him perform that. And he still brought it, of course, but it was just a very tender performance that he gave of this song, and very moving. And you could tell it kind of allowed him to come full circle with the singer competition and where he was at, and really close with something that spoke to why he was there and what was important to him, right? His culture, his country, telling the world about it and representing his family and his country, and sharing a tender message and touching others with his gift. And that's a pretty remarkable legacy to focus on and to leave for your closing moments of the competition. So bravo to him. Also, if you haven't subscribed, if you could please click on the subscribe and click the like and the notification so you can be made aware of any of the new Dimash reactions or any of the other reactions you might be interested in that are coming. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you and take care.